It's now October, and Bob Ewell is still nursing his grudge. He has it out for Atticus and even Judge John Taylor. Even though Tom Robinson was convicted and shot dead while trying to escape prison, Bob Ewell isn't the hero he thought he'd be. In fact, people think even less of him than before. Other than that, life in Maycomb seems to have returned to normal. The children are looking forward to the Halloween pageant Miss Merriweather is putting together. There'll even be a competition for best costume. Scout will be on stage for the main event, dressed as a ham. Yes, ma'am, a piece of ham. Since Jem's too cool for pageants, he'll just escort Scout to and from her stage debut. So, on Halloween night, Jem and Scout set out together. It was a moonless night, so their walk to the school was a dark and dangerous one. As they passed the Radley place, sharp shadows made the old house look as spooky as ever. Hey team, just a reminder, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It really helps the channel out, and our next upload could be on something taught in your next class. Thanks, and back to the video. Was Boo finally going to come out tonight? It's Halloween after all. Ah! Who's that? Oh, it's just Cecil Jacobs with a flashlight. What a clown. When they arrive, the festival atmosphere is in full swing. Inside, there are all manner of ghoulish delights, including a house of horrors. Soon, it's time to get ready for the big show. Scout and Cecil run backstage and climb into their costumes. Unfortunately, Scout falls asleep inside her ham costume and misses her cue. Poor little piggy. It's a good thing that Jem is just as good as Atticus at making her feel better when things go wrong. But Scout's so embarrassed that she refuses to remove her costume and show her face. So she keeps it on as Jem walks her home. Shh. Wait. Jem hears something in the darkness behind them. He tells Scout to stop. Is it the wind? Is Cecil Jacobs pulling another prank? Scout can't see much through her ham, but she knows Jem isn't joking. When they hear heavy footsteps running towards them, Jem screams, "Run, Scout! Run! Run!" But she loses her balance, and something crushes the chicken wire of her costume. Scout falls and rolls inside her ham-shaped prison. She can hear scuffling and kicking. What's going on? Scout senses that a fourth person has joined the struggle. Someone is on the ground and someone is carrying Jem home. When she arrives at the front door, there's panic in the house. Dr. Reynolds and Heck Tate, the sheriff, are called urgently. Finally, Aunt Alexandra helps Scout out of her costume. Jem is alive. Phew, but he's a mess. When Scout goes to see him, he's unconscious and has a badly broken arm. Then Heck Tate breaks the news. Bob Ewell is lying under the big oak tree where the struggle happened. He's dead with a knife stuck in his ribs. Heck Tate asks Scout to tell him what happened. When Atticus shows Heck the ham costume, it's obvious that its wire frame probably saved Scout's life. Bob had tried to stab her, but failed. As she recounts the ordeal, she points to the mysterious man who carried Jem back home. He was still standing in the corner. Then, with sudden tears, Scout realizes who he is. It's Boo Radley. When Dr. Reynolds returns to see Jem, everyone goes out to sit on the front porch. Atticus worries himself about a possible trial over the killing of Bob Ewell. He thinks Jem stabbed Bob. Even though it was obviously self-defense, Atticus wants legal procedures followed properly. Let it all be heard in the open so rumours don't circulate. Having already inspected the crime scene, Hecate has a different view. For a start, Jem didn't stab Bob Ewell. He's decided that Bob tripped on a tree root during the scuffle and fell onto his own knife. But Atticus doesn't want any favours. If Jem stabbed Bob, then Jem should be held to account. Hecate loses his patience. He's not covering for Jem. Atticus hasn't put 2 and 2 together yet. Hecate explains that it was Boo Radley who stopped Bob Ewell, stopped him for good. But to make Boo Radley the town hero would be a terrible mistake. He's a shy man who needs a quiet life. To ruin that would be a sin. Bob Ewell fell on his knife, and that's that. Atticus has no choice but to accept the sheriff's decision. Will Scout understand? Scout understands perfectly well. She knows that bringing Boo into the limelight would be like shooting a mockingbird. Clever girl. Atticus thanks Boo Radley for saving his children. Scout takes Boo back inside to say goodnight to Jem. She holds Boo's hand as he tenderly strokes Jem's hair. Jem would never let him do that if he was awake. Back on the porch, Boo keeps hold of Scout's hand and gently asks, "Will you take me home?" It's almost like he's a frightened child. And so she does. Once Boo Radley returns to his home, Scout never sees him again. As she stands on the Radleys' front porch, Scout can see how the neighbourhood appears from Boo's point of view. She imagines how Boo observed his children's summertime antics, all their games, fights, discoveries, and heartbreaks. When she arrives back home, Atticus is in Jem's room, reading to him. Oh, goody, a ghost story. But she's unable to keep her eyes open, so Atticus puts her to bed. She's had a big day. But what a story she'll have for Jem in the morning. We hope you enjoyed this Schooling Online production. For more easy lessons, check out our other videos.